So here's what I first walked into when I came to my class this morning. Let me show you. Now, honestly, it really isn't that bad at all. From what I can tell, it looks like they must have cleaned the floor because the desks are kind of not where they're normally at. They tried to put them back as best as they could, obviously, but it's really not too bad at all. But there are definitely some things out of place because, once again, I think they moved or they cleaned the carpet, and so they moved things around. Like this was over here and this was a little bit over there, and of course you can see all the chairs are missing. They're all kind of just stacked up in the back there, and over here by my desk area, that is not too bad. Just some trash and things I kind of have to put back and everything. So overall, it's not too bad as it compared before. I mean, as a new teacher, man, let me just tell you, as a new teacher, this is rough because a new teacher, you got to come in, you got a totally brand new classroom that you have to work with. But for me, luckily, my classroom is pretty much intact. But as a new teacher, man, you come to a classroom, there's nothing set up at all. You have no idea how to get things going. So it becomes very, very hard the first year or two. But let me show you what I'm going to do with my room. So a couple things I just want to point out, and then I'll get to work. Now we have actually, so we have 3 days of prep. The first day of prep is, actually it's not even first, it's not really prep. First day we have meetings at our school all day, so school-wide meetings. Second day is district-wide meetings. But then we have our third day, which we actually get a chance to work in our classroom. So in essence, I only have 1 day to really prepare for the school year. And hopefully my plan is this. I'm gonna do maybe like an hour today. So after our school meetings, I'm gonna stay an hour afterwards to kind of get things going. And then with tomorrow, after our district meetings, and probably spend about an hour. And then the third day is when I'm gonna do the bulk of the work, getting the class ready. So let me kind of show you what I have to do, just as far as getting the classroom ready, and then I'll talk about what I have to do to get get ready for the overall school year. And so it's got to rearrange a few things. Like, for example, I got to put things back where they belong. This basically kind of goes over here. That bookcase, I think might stay there a little bit. I might move to the right a little bit. All my Chromebook cart is perfect, so I'll keep that where it's at. But then, of course, I have to put the seats where I want them to be at. This is going to be the same design for the most part. It's going to have to straighten them out and organize them a little bit better. But it's going to pretty much be the same design, so I kind of have to do that. And then I have this calendar back here, so I have to write on my calendar for the students, so when they come in the first day, they understand what they're going to be doing. As far as decorations go, that is my weak spot. My weak spot is with decorations. I'm not really good at decorations, and so most of the stuff you see up here is kind of what I have for my classroom all year round. I did get a little flag that I'll probably put up somewhere, but beyond that, decorations are pretty much done. Oh, the other thing is this. I have a red, white, and blue. I teach United States history. This was old. It was from last year. I put up last year at the beginning of the year. So I'll probably replace those. They kind of just hide some ugly cabinets. I'll replace that. And then just put these items back here. These actually go underneath there. So I'll do that. So maybe all this maybe take an hour. But the bulk of the work I'm going to have to do, is actually get ready for the school year. So once again, the most of the work I'm going to do is actually getting ready, the syllabus and all that stuff. But let me kind of just get this, classroom organized, set up the way I needed to, spend some time doing that, and then I'll move on to the really heavy-duty work. All right, so I just got done organizing the desk. Once again, the rows are pretty much the same, but I kind of had to, move the chairs back properly and everything else. Boy, these desks are a great example of education. You see, when we first got these desks about 3 years ago, when the school first started opening up, they chose these desks because the chairs were separate from the desk itself, and because you can move the desk around easily with the idea of collaboration and everything, which is great in theory. But practically speaking, it's an awful thing because they move around so easily. They're not quite as stationary. What happens is that by the end of the day, I have everything shifted one way or the other, and I have to spend like 5 minutes going back to actually fix the order of these desks. So as you can see from my desk, I do have them in rows for the most part, paired up in rows. When it does come collaborations, they easily can share with each other, or if they need to, they can turn around, share in groups of 4. So it's kind of set up that way. But I tried all different schematics with this room. This seemed to work the best as far as the shape, size, and everything else. So here's the next thing I'm gonna do is the desks are not clean, so I'm gonna quickly go around and clean the desk. And then after that, I'll see about working on my teacher desk area. All right, so looking pretty good here. I got the, so I cleaned the desk off, the ones that need to be cleaned off. I got my rolling cart moved kind of back where it needed to be, moved the bookshelf a little bit, plugged in my Chromebook, so that's looking pretty good. The next thing I'm actually gonna work on is over here. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is part of my organization system. First thing I got over here. So down here is this storage. This is all storage for different things I have. Looks ugly. This old, ugly cabinet. So I covered them with red, white, and blue. Once again, American flag. So that way, kind of makes it a little more appealing. But then on top of these, I have my bins. And this is my in bin. And then I have no name. So this is where students have no name. And then I have periods 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, and then over here, pencil sharpener, some other little supply stuff, right? So what happens for me is when students turn in work, they put it in the in bin, right? And I grade it. Now, if there is no name on it, then it gets put back here in the no name bin, and they have a few days to claim it. But once I grade it, then I put it back in one of these 5 bins right here, depending upon the period, and then I use that to pass back paper. So this is my little part of my whole organization system that I have. And so what I'm gonna do real quickly is I'm just gonna replace this red, white, and blue with new, that's actually tablecloth I got from the Dollar Tree, with new tablecloths. Here we go. All right, that is now done. Now onto my desk area. So let's take care of that. It's only be a minute or two, and then we're ready on to the hard stuff, which is syllabus and first day, second day, third day prep, and all of that great stuff. Now, once again, the nice thing is, since I've been at the school before and everything else, a lot of it I already have, set. But man, if you're going to a new school, or you're a first year teacher, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. Like you gotta check out textbooks, probably check out Chromebooks, you gotta create, everything brand new, you gotta get your keys, there's so much to do. At my school currently, we have about 50 teachers, I'm gonna say 45, 48 teachers roughly, and we got 15 new teachers. That's about a third of our staff is new. And so that's a lot of stuff coming at you at one time. Now, the nice thing about my school is we're really trying to put something in place to support those new teachers. So hopefully that plays out like we hope it's going to play out. But once again, if you're a first year, second year teacher, you have a lot more to do than I do, and you can do it. Just got to make sure you get everything down. With that said, let's take care of my desk area. All right, so the desk area is done. Now the two things I'm gonna dive into right now. One, if you look behind me, you see the 6 clipboards there. Those are for my seating chart. I'm gonna hold off until tomorrow to do that because they're always making changes at the last moment for the students on our rosters. And I hate to do all seating chart, the next a whole entire class is different. So I'm gonna hold off on that, but I'm gonna work on my syllabus right now. I'm gonna use the same syllabus from yesterday. However, we have some new rules and procedures for our school that I wanna make sure I include in the syllabus so it kind of lines up. So I'm gonna go through my syllabus, change a few things, and then when that's done, I'll make some copies and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. All right, so I'm done with my syllabus, made the updates to it. It took me about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so, so not too bad. But my syllabus, what I do with my syllabus is this, is that I have my regular syllabus. This is kind of, how it is. Actually, it's the 3 pages, front, back, and the third one is they rip off after get assigned and brought back to me, right? So that's the syllabus. But what I actually do is I used to in the old days just kind of read this and we talk about it, but I would lose a lot of kids. I still lose a lot of kids. Regarding the syllabus, it's kind of boring. It's boring for me. But what I do differently now is this. I have this syllabus, but I put blank spaces on them. So you see the same syllabus, but there's blank spaces. And so as I'm talking, as we're going through the information, students have to fill in the blank spaces. So that is a way of getting them more interaction. That way of getting them more involved in what we're talking about. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still boring. I find it boring, students find it boring. But by doing this, at least I have their attention a little bit more interaction. They have to pay attention somewhat as well. But also I use this as a way of just kind of setting the tone for the class. So we go over the syllabus for the information, but also just to set the tone of class and make sure the expectations are communicated, just set the pacing, all that other good stuff. I use this kind of like as the first assignment. So what I got to do now is I got to make copies. I have about 150 students this year. So I always make about 25% more than I need because students lose them, this and that. So I'm going to make some copies of this. So roughly about maybe 180 copies I'll make of this one. And then this one here, the one that's already all filled out, I'll probably make about 30 copies of this one. This is for students that come into my class sometime of the year or sometime after we cover the syllabus, so they have a reference of what's going on. So let me go and make some copies, and then that will conclude for today. But then tomorrow, I have meetings at the district, but I'll come back here for about an hour or two, and at that point in time I'll probably do my seating chart, and I'll plan for the very first day or 2 or 3 when I have students. And then that is the main thing I gotta make sure I take care of, make sure everything is planned ahead so no surprises. All right, let me go make some copies. The previous day, I went to go make copies, and of course I went there, and guess what? We're out of paper. I mean, that's how it always goes. So first of all, my advice to you is this: if you have to make copies, do them before you need them. Otherwise, you're gonna run into that problem. So luckily, I came today and we still didn't have paper there, but I went to the front office. They had some stashed away somewhere else in a little side area. So I was able to make my copies today. Now let me show you what I got copy-wise here. So my belief is when I lesson plan, I always lesson plan 3 weeks in advance. So I plan my 3 week advance, but then I make copies for about a week in advance. So I'm always ready to go 1 week in advance. And so here's what I got here. And let me kind of explain a little bit as we go. I got my syllabus that I hand out to the students. And what we do the first couple of days, we actually will go through the syllabus together. If you look real closely, you'll see there's blanks on the syllabus. As we're reviewing the syllabus, I'll have students fill in the answer. So that way they're a little more participating than versus just listening to me talk. And then I have this syllabus right here. This syllabus right here is if a student comes in, let's say, to the school and they weren't there as we went over the syllabus, I'll just hand them a copy like this, and of course they get a sign and brought back. Or if parents, today we have like an open house, so if parents want a syllabus, that's right there. And then one of the first activities to do is called the Nakarima. And so that is right there. So that is ready to go. And next is the homework. The first homework is right here. That's ready to go. And then I have my emergency lesson plans. For emergency lesson plans, I always show a video. If I'm ever absent, students will watch a video and have to answer questions. So there's that first one, and there's that second one. And then another thing I did when the copy machines were not working, or we didn't have paper the previous day, I actually spent some time making my seating chart. Now this seating chart right here is the bread and butter of my class. This seating chart right here is all encompassing for me. And if you ever want to know how I use my seating chart, look at my previous videos. I'll tell you how I use my seating chart. But I'm telling you, this seating chart was a game changer for me. And so once again, these are all the copies that I had to make, so they are ready to go. And the other thing I want to show you real quickly is my board. So let me show you my board. So if you look here at my board, and this is the lessons, I guess you would call it, at a week at a glance. So this is mainly for the students, also for me to remind me what I'm doing each day. But a couple things I want to point out. So today is Monday, and so students are not here on Monday. But then it tells you what we're going to learn. So this is what they're going to learn on the top row. The middle row is what we're going to do, and so this is what we're going to do them for the week. And then this bottom part is how they know, or what did they learn, or how they're going to show what they learned. But let me show you this here. So tomorrow, we are going to only have students for about 15 minutes. We have an advisory period, which we're going to spend most of the time with them, go over all the rules of the school and everything else. And then the students are going to go through their schedule rotation, only about 15 minutes of class per day. So that's just for Tuesday. It's a minimum day. And so basically they're going to come in. I'm going to get their seating chart down, meaning I'm going to get students in the right seat. I'll probably a quick little intro of my name, and that'll be it for tomorrow. And then Wednesday, that's when I'm going to do that lesson called the Nakarima. But also I'm going to use that as a springboard to talk about my philosophy and teaching. So that'll take the entire period. And then Thursday and Friday, we'll be working on the syllabus. It usually takes about a day and a half to cover the syllabus. And then you see, so that's over Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to finish the syllabus, but also I'm going to show them around different things in the room. So that's kind of what we're doing this week. The other stuff over here, points, homework, extra credit, that all comes later on. But that is what we're doing for this week. So I am basically ready to go. I'd still have to do a few more things, like you have to make sure my lesson's ready to go for tomorrow, my little slides all work, that we're going to be showing our advisory students. So I got to do that for tomorrow, or at least have that ready to go for tomorrow. So I need to review that somewhat. But in essence, we are ready. We are ready for the next week. We're ready for this year. So with that said, I wish you a very good year. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, Happy New Year. Well, new teacher year, I guess.